It's just after 10:30 on the 23rd of March, and with the days getting longer and blossom on the trees, there's a definitive impression of spring in the air.
And impressions are a recurring theme in our programme today. Artists' impressions, for a start. How can a pensioner from Essex make drawings of people's dead relatives whom she's never met, and which are so realistic that their families are staggered? Well, Rita Taylor says it's a psychic gift, and we'll be meeting her shortly.
Prince of comedy and gifted impressionist Les Dennis is our guest today. Meet him at 10:40.
All stressed out, Jenny Barnett investigates the art of relaxation Oriental style at 10:50.
And if you wield a nifty needle, or you'd like to, today's needlecraft feature looks at rug making. That's at 11:50.
Do you say ether and she says either? Why does it seem sometimes that men and women speak a different language? Do women really talk much more than men?
Yes.
Do men honestly find it impossible to express their feelings?
Well, we have an expert on the male-female communications barrier on hand today. So if you have an opinion or an experience on this age-old problem, or if you really don't think there is a difference when men and women get talking, ring us now on 021 609 9000.
And here's a reminder of just some of our programme highlights today.
Now, what do you think about mediums, people who seem to be able to communicate with and bring messages from the dead, mostly for the comfort of those who've been left behind?
Well, some have been exposed as charlatans, some are a little harder to debunk, but one lady is confounding many of the experts. Rita Taylor says she has no artistic talent, but she has been producing the most astonishing likenesses of people she's never met, and she claims it's all psychic power. Good morning to you, Rita.
Good morning, both of you.
So, when did you realise you had this gift?
I think it really is something that you're born with. You know, I think it's something that you can develop as well over the years, but I think it's very strong in children in their puberty, really.
But, I mean, you're not an artist yourself, a drawer,
Oh, no.
a good drawer, are you?
Oh, no, I've never had any art lessons, and I really can't get a likeness to anybody living at all.
So why do you think this has been visited on you?
I think we've all got gifts, and I think we, in the end, especially at the end of our lifetime, we realise what it is.
So what happens when somebody comes to see you? Do you actually feel the urge to draw a picture?
Well, I think we're really here as a service to people, and I suppose my main work is really at church meetings and you know, sort of spiritualist organisations, and we are drawn to people in the congregation or in the audience, and it's like as though somebody has singled that face out for you. You have to really raise your own vibrations to a higher level of consciousness for that contact and that communication.
And then what happens? You get your drawing board out, and who's moving your hand? Who's doing the actual drawing?
I do have a French artist. I'm just very much aware that I've got somebody using my hand. That's why I look at the drawing usually when I'm doing it, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
Do you find it a bit eerie, a bit bizarre?
No, it's life to me. It's like riding a bike. No, not at all.
Well, with you is Siobhan Burns. Now, you went to see Rita, didn't you?
Yes.
What happened when you went to see Rita?
Was she drawing my granddad?
And how did it all come about? Why did you go to her in the first place?
Well, we'd heard about her, like, through friends, and I'd seen her at a spiritualist church, and we phoned her up and decided to go and have a sit-in with her.
Was this in the hope of having contact with your granddad?
In some ways, yeah, but it was more for actual proof and reassurance of there was something after. You didn't just
Because
die.
he had died?
Yeah.
So go on, tell us what happened.
Well, I went to see Rita. She told me a few things that no one could really know outside the family.
And they were to do with your granddad?
To do my granddad.
Something
yeah.
about curly cucumbers?
Oh yeah, he used to grow veg, and one year he grew cucumbers in the greenhouse, and they turned out curly instead of straight.
So there's no way Rita could have possibly known that?
No way at all.
And so she said that, and you knew that there must be some sort of communication going on.
Let's see the
and then
picture.
she drew you the picture?
Yeah, picture of my granddad.
Let's have a really good look at that. I'll hold it up, shall I? There. Did you recognise him straight away?
Yeah, yeah.
And you went home, showed your mum, didn't you, as
Yeah,
well?
yeah.
What did she say?
She just broke down, she just cried. She said, it's Dad.
Look, there's a picture of your granddad.
An astonishing likeness.
It is, yes.
And you sort of completely believe that this is, you know, that this gift to Rita was nothing to do with her knowing him personally, knowing background,
She couldn't
knowing
have
stories.
known him, no.
So you're a real believer.
Yeah.
Is it a comfort?
Yeah, yeah, definitely it is.
So what did you see, Rita? Did you see his face? Or did you
Not
just feel your
when I
hand
drew
move?
it. I just watch the face come. When I draw, I just watch it.
So you don't actually see the face in your mind? You actually just feel your hand being guided in a way to do the drawing?
But not when I give the messages. I don't. That's sort of, I'm given that another way. And I could, if I draw, and I have done, I know if the man I'm going to draw is the one that I'm linking with, because I have a mental impression of them very, very clearly. Like I'm watching your face, I can also see theirs. And if I draw them, then I can say, oh, this is the same man. But it's not always. So
I know sometimes you've drawn people and the people who've come to see you don't recognise the face, do they?
No, they bring me back the photo afterwards when they find
They
it.
go home. Yeah.
You've actually had a session today, haven't you, with one of our researchers, Joe McGrath. Let's speak to Joe. Where is Joe? She's going to come. Oh, here he is. Come and sit down, Joe. Now, Joe, you've been talking to Rita today. What were you hoping to achieve?
Well, we sat down and had a chat. I must admit it was only 10 minutes and people were walking in and out, so it was very difficult for Rita to concentrate. But we had a general chat about people who she said were talking to her. Some of the things were very vague and didn't really mean a lot to me. But there were things that, for instance, she did say, there's a tall gentleman, I think, on your father's side, who is talking to me. He's a gentleman that doesn't talk very much, but is very protective, was very protective over you. And that did seem to be my granddad, I must admit. And she said I looked very much like him, and my parents said, I do, yes, that's right. She did draw this picture, this sketch here. It doesn't actually mean anything to me. It might mean something to my mom, so if she's watching, ring in. But admittedly, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, but you actually saw Rita doing the drawing.
Yes.
I mean, so, you know, she's a pretty good artist.
Anyway.
For someone who doesn't claim to be any good.
Well, it'll be fascinating, Joe, if your family recognise that face.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just let me tell you at home, if you have any views or experience of the work of psychics, we'd like to hear from you. Ring us, as always, on 021 609 9000. 021 609 9000. And Rita, I suppose you'd make the point that you can go back many generations.
I don't usually, actually. No, I might. I go back to granddad's, maybe great-grandparents, but not that far back. It's not...
Well, just hold that up in case your mum is watching, Joe, and if she thinks that is like someone she recognises,
then we'll find out.
That's it.
And meanwhile, thanks very much to Siobhan and to Rita.
Thank you, Anne.
I'll give you a picture of your granddad back. We'll take a break now, but when we get back, meet Les Dennis, man of many parts.